NFL Week 8, Sunday Night Football, real old school vibes here as the Green Bay Packers visit the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Packers, 3-point road faves in this one. The total is 45.5, either side of that right now, minus 110. We're going to talk best bets for this game. Aaron Rodgers' revenge angle, of course. Chase Brown ran all over Pittsburgh last week. Could it be a big Josh Jacobs game? We'll address all of that and much more here today. Welcome to the channel. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that subscribe button. Drop your favorite bet for Sunday Night Football in the comments section below. Ninja here with Nick Holz. And Nick, I got to start with Aaron Rodgers. Big revenge game angle for him. Seemingly turned back the clock a bit this season. Over 1,200 passing yards, the 14 touchdown passes, the 5 picks, 67 passing grade at PFF. Good enough for 20th in the NFL. But Nick, does this spot scare you a little bit as a Packers fan? Like, do you think Aaron Rodgers has a bit of extra motivation for this one?
Yeah, he's going to have a ton of motivation. I mean, it's a guy who's had a chip on his shoulder his entire career, and he's going to have a little something extra for the Packers this week. Both Mike Tomlin and Matt LaFleur in press conferences this week have downplayed that factor and said, they both have a lot of love for Rodgers and it's just another game. But, somewhere in the back of his mind, he's going to want to really give it his all on Sunday night and stick it to the Packers for even drafting Jordan Love. Over the last 3 weeks, this guy's 5th in EPA per play and 6th in completion percentage over expected. He's also the NFL's highest rated passer on releases of less than 2.5 seconds. So he's uniquely equipped to kind of dice up a Packers defense that's kind of been dink and dunked over the last few weeks. So Rodgers is going to be ready to play on Sunday night.
Got to talk about your guys for a second here, but the Packers, they haven't really hit those highs of the early part of the season. They started as good as anybody. The win over the Lions now looking really, really good. But even though they are 4-1-1, it just doesn't feel the same. So as a Packers fan, what have you been noticing about the Packers since that loss to the Browns especially?
Yeah, a little bit concerned with the offensive line. Certainly concerned with the performance of the secondary and the lackadaisical play of two big-name free agents in Nate Hobbs and Aaron Banks that were signed this offseason. But at the end of the day, the Packers have only lost one game. They're 6th in total DVOA. They're 4th in offensive EPA per play. And defensively, they're 6th in pass rush win rate. And they have this guy named Micah Parsons. So he's the ultimate closer, and we saw that last week. There's really no style points for wins in the NFL, so I'm less concerned about the Packers looking great in October. I'd much rather have them peak and be at the top of the mountain in January and February.
Well, it could be a big spot here because Chase Brown, mentioned him off the top, and he gashed this Steelers defense for 108 yards on just 11 carries. Josh Jacobs has 6 TDs in his last 3 games. But is this a game, Nick, where he could break 100 yards on the ground and be a big candidate in player prop markets? DraftKings only has him at 68.5 rushing yards for this one, over minus 112. Nick, your thoughts there?
I'd be very careful of that market. I mean, the Steelers' rushing defense is nothing to write home about. 25th in run stop win rate and 17th in run defensive grade per PFF. But I'd be looking very closely at Jacob's status on the injury report this week. He's got a banged up calf. Was a game time decision against Arizona last Sunday. So be careful there. The Packers were really only using him in the 20s and not so much in the middle of the field as well. So I would probably fade Jacobs moving forward here, especially if that line continues to creep up. In 2 career games, albeit with the Raiders against the Steelers, he averaged only 53 yards per game with no touchdowns.
So then let me ask you this as a follow-up. Is it worth taking a look at Emmanuel Wilson as a sneaky prop option? It feels like his snaps have been going up the last few weeks a bit, maybe, and plus 425 anytime touchdown.
Yeah, certainly rising there. A name to watch for sure. There's also Chris Brooks, who I think is going to be 3rd on the depth chart, and he's been kind of more of a power back as well, who's gained some snaps on 3rd downs because of his pass protection. So I like Brooks's props if you can find them as well.
So on that topic, of Chase Brown lighting up the Steelers defense, Jamar Chase having a spectacular game in that one as well, do you think that the Steelers defense just had a bad week, or have they actually been figured out by opponents here?
Yeah, I think they've been exploited this season. They brought in a lot of bigger name free agents and guys like Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey, but guys who are kind of past their prime and have maybe lost a step here. I mean, Pittsburgh's given up 30 points in 3 of their 6 games. So I think this is just who Terrell Austin's defense really is. Certainly not the return of the steel curtain. They're kind of old, they're banged up, and they're definitely vulnerable. They're allowing almost 375 yards per game, and opponents are converting over 41% of third downs, which are both good for 26th in the NFL. And the whole starting secondary is giving up a passer rating over 100 when targeted in coverage. And that's not a misprint. That's, Darius Slade, Jalen Ramsey, Juan Thornhill, and some combination of Chuck Clark back there that are just allowing quarterbacks to slice and dice them up all game. So I really like Jordan Love and the Packers to be able to move the football on Sunday night.
And we'll get to your pick in a moment here. But folks, if you're looking for a little extra edge in your daily sports betting, you've got to check out Prop Professor, because to celebrate the start of the NBA season, you can get it at 50% off for the first month. This app drops hundreds of plus EV bets every single day, giving you a real shot at finding long-term profit instead of just guessing. You can sort through plays across the NFL, the NBA, college football, and plenty more, all backed by data and not vibes. It's got tools for arbitrage betting. It's got a fantasy optimizer, so you can cover all of your angles. And if you want to give it a try, use the promo code OddsShark50 at checkout, and remember, 50% off for that first month. And speaking of, there's still some plus EV bets to be had for Sunday Night Football here. Packers team total in particular, over 23.5 points. One of them, according to our friends at Prop Professor. You got to strike while that plus EV iron is hot, so make sure you guys are subscribing to Prop Professor. Hit that link down below. Nick, I mentioned it already, but your Packers, 3-point road faves here. That total, 45.5, either side minus 110. I know you've probably got a ton of action for this game, but what's your favorite bet right now?
Yeah, historically, the Packers haven't excelled against the Steelers. 3-7 in their last 10 meetings and 0-6 recently in their last 6 in Pittsburgh. So not a great look there, but the total has gone over in 5 of the last 6 games between the teams. And look, we've got 2 secondaries that are just in rough shape. Keyshawn Nixon and Nate Hobbs just absolutely destroyed last week by the backup quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals, Jacoby Brissett. And we talked about the Steelers' vulnerabilities already. I like, especially with Christian Watson coming back for the Packers, I really, really like the Packers' ability to score points. So I'm with Prop Professor on this one. I'm on the over 44.5. I got that at minus 115, but definitely shop around there. Also jumping on a couple of Packers wide receiver props. Why not against that secondary? I mean, we got Matthew Golden over 41.5. That's probably my favorite prop for Sunday night.